Morning, team. Sorry about that. No idea what happened there with OBS and YouTube. Set it up yesterday as always, and then just came on to click live, and it wasn't there. So maybe some little glitch in the system somewhere. But anyway, we're live now. I'll give it a couple more minutes just for a few of the regulars to join. But overall, nothing has really changed. All right, nothing has really changed. We've had some news. You would have seen yesterday we had a big old print from Nvidia, so a big beat on a lot of things and a couple of misses. A couple of misses on their gross and on the gaming, but still some big beats. So I think Nvidia is still gapping up this morning. And then this morning we had some GDP and some other prints. Both came in, I would say, a little bit neutral to bearish, if anything. But really, when you look at the daily right now, we're still in a 3-day range, right? Still building liquidity. So yesterday, we had no breakout traders in the market. Today, currently, we still have no breakout traders in the market. So we are still respecting Tuesday's range right now. We must respect Tuesday's range. So now the chart's starting to pick up, the chat, starting to see some more of the regulars come in. So let's do as we always do. Unfortunately, down on some numbers today, but that's my fault. Let's go through the daily. All right, so what do we talk about? Rotation, top bowl, 20-day, lower bowl. Where have we gone to now? 5-day. If we're going to get a healthy trend without any mean reversion, all right, you would expect this to open up and the 5-day to trend down with it. All right, what is very possible to happen, because this was such a big sell, a 3-day sell, all right, we might have some mean reversion back into maybe this day here in this gap, maybe into this one, but less likely. For this 20-day, which will trend down and then look for a lower high there. That would be the ideal scenario, to look for a lower high, for a drive back in and a failure. What we don't really want to do, and where people have got caught yesterday again, you don't want to be trying to short outside of that lower Bollinger Band, right? You can see it does not like to fail outside the lower Bollinger Band. So shorts yesterday at the lows again would have been caught as we rotated back up. So potentially today we can still build out, all right, we can still build out some form of flag. It's still potential today on a daily, some sort of drive up here. And maybe it fails today, maybe it fails tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe never at all. What I don't want to do, unless we've got some room, is to short these lows down here. All right, so I'm very, very aware of that. Moving into the hourly chart, and you'll see what I mean. We are still just in a 2-day range. Okay, so this right here, where are you? This is basically Monday. Where's Monday low? Monday low basically here. All right, so we broke down. Here's your Tuesday low, and we're trading back inside Wednesday. Never take out the high, the Tuesday high. Trade back down towards Tuesday low. Don't take it out. Trade back up towards the high. Don't take it out. So we are in this range. This is liquidity building. All right, this is lots and lots of liquidity building. At some point, we will get a change, all right? And that might be an acceptance over this level. The same thing we were looking at yesterday. Acceptance over here can allow a higher low on an hourly for a drive back up to maybe take out this level or into here. And when we start getting up to it, obviously, we're not adding into our longs because this is still counter trend. We are starting to take some partials, expecting at some point a lower high to be formed to come all the way back down and clean all this up. If we don't get that, all right, if bulls or counter trend bulls fail to take control over this, we'll either continue rotation, all right, and possibly we come down and clean this up. And if they set something like this, there is that trade lower. Now, why do you have to be careful? Obviously, there are daily levels we can go for, but we know that lower Bollinger Band right now is sitting sort of around here. All right, so it's unusual. It would need to be the equivalent of a black swan event. It's very, very unusual that we get breakdowns beneath the lower bowl. It's possible, but it's unusual. So be careful with your risk reward. For me, the more preference today would be the same as yesterday. Acceptance above and go and clean out these highs into, let's call it 660, and maybe this imbalance, maybe up here. And somewhere up here, once we get there, I'm going to wait to see if we put in some sort of bearish pattern for a rotation back down. That might be tomorrow or Monday by the time we do that. Quick look at the 5-minute, and we can see the same thing. So you can see this horrible candle. This guy right here was printed in about 20 seconds. a 300 odd point candle. That is your Nvidia candle. All right. And what did that Nvidia candle do? It did max damage. Think about yesterday. All right. We had that big sell off, a W, double bottom. This candle swept everyone out. So everyone who was swing long hoping for a gap up, they got taken out before it reversed back up. And then we traded inside. All right. Overnight, what have we really done? Asia has traded inside. After Asia, we started expanding into London, which has come and cleaned out the Nvidia high. And then New York opening up and then driving back down inside the London range in the pre-market of New York, still holding VWAP. So we have sort of some trend line liquidity here. It can come and clean all this up. Remember, range rotation is happening between these at the moment. All right, there is no confirmation of anything until we get outside of that. The main trend remains downside, but your risk reward a bit iffy if you're looking to get short down here. All right, gap fill today will be down into this on the cash gap 190s. Let's call it 180, 190. So the easiest play I would say would either be a breakout and a hold for a long, or a failed breakout and that trade all the way back down into here. Very much like yesterday afternoon. That's what we got yesterday afternoon after it built enough liquidity and Mr. Trump scared the market with his talks. Okay, what else have we got? Let's have a look around. Going back to the mainstream, let's have a look. The VIX. Okay, the VIX is gapping down, all right? Holding previous day low, but it is currently under previous day close. So VIX gapping down. That is fairly bullish for the market. If it can start to wash underneath previous day low, we can maybe get a return higher. The ETFs look very, very clean right now, I must say. They look a little bit cleaner. So you can see that we're building out this wedge on the ETFs, but they're still in a range rotation. QQQ, same levels that we were looking at yesterday. All right, so you're looking at potential support from 513.25 down to 511.50. Failure of that, you're into like low of week, really. If we can start breaking out over 519.75 and then taking out 520.71, you can get a mean reversion up a little bit higher to come and test the 5-day and the 20-day on the QQQ. Things on the SPY, very, very similar. All right, your range is very, very similar. We're producing higher highs and higher lows still, and lower lows. We're producing higher lows and lower highs. So the same kind of thing, a little bit of a wedge being built. Currently rejecting its 50-day, currently rejecting previous day high. So until we clear those levels, once we clear those levels, I'd say 599.80s. If we can clear those on ES, then you're looking for a trade to come and take out 601.90, 602, and then possibly, if it really gets going, for a back test of 605. So that would be the ideal scenario. Let's have a look at the MAG quickly and see where we're at. Apple gapping down. All right, Apple failing. It's 50-day, starting to gap down, taking out previous day low currently. Microsoft with a bit of a gap up here, or flat, just a little bit of a gap up. Amazon's been strong today, all right? Amazon had chip news this morning. Big old gap up in Amazon, currently basing over and around previous day high. So very, very bullish from Amazon. Google also with a gap up following Amazon above previous day high, but currently has not taken out the key levels that it put in from Wednesday. Meta basing at these highs, like really, really impressive Meta again, but it's got a long way to go to recover. Remember, we went on a giant pump on Meta on the daily, sold all the way back down to the 50-day, found a bid there, starting to turn around and produce high highs and high lows on a lower time frame. It's just a question of, can it get acceptance? I guess really it needs to get back up towards 695, 700s, that kind of level. That's where it wants to get back towards, back test that and see if it gets absorbed. Nvidia with a gap up as well, decent gap up off earnings, but it has not taken out its earnings high. So I'd be watching. You can set a price alert, 136.63. That is the Nvidia high on that Newsweek, and you can set a price alert at the low, 125.60. Expect some volatility at the open on Nvidia, which might run through onto the NQ. So I'm not looking to jump in a trade straight away. I want this market to settle down a little bit before I think about anything else. All right, just let it settle down this morning. We are still in a range, same range we've been in the last few days. We've got a couple minutes until the open. Do me a favor, folks, smash that like button. At least half of you haven't hit it yet. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, TR, Vince, Clint, Jeff, Thumper, Peter, Stephen W, Calypso, Miguel C, Indicator, BU, Marek, Glenn, Leron, Jesse M, Minutes, Joshua Lewis, JD Florida Man, Christy W, Blake, Michael Pope, Dopamine, Andrew G, Noah, Crawford, good morning, hang out and learning, made what I needed pre-market and I'm out for the day. Fantastic work, Crawford. Make it happen, Steve C, Gus, and Tracy Jones. Good morning, everyone. All right, so we have just over a minute left until the open. Make sure you're on all the right screens. And we will mark out everything as we get going. So let's just put, we got previous day high here. This is what we're looking for. If we get acceptance above this, we're thinking about bullish moves. If we get failures in here, we're thinking about a rotation back down towards demand. All right, just remember, overnight, we've sort of just done this. It's very clean. Not many of these bulls have been taken out yet. I would say this level around here is going to be key today. 250, let's say, down to 190s, 250 down to 190s. If we hold that, it's got the chance to slingshot back up. All right, but I'm not going to be buying dips down here because overall we're bearish. It will need to prove to me it wants to go back upside or base above here. Otherwise, I'm looking for bearish moves. I'm also happy not taking a trade as always, right? If we're going to just continue to consolidate, you would have seen I got off stream yesterday saying I don't like the way it's acting at the highs, not able to take out the high. Might do a bigger drive down. We took that short right at the end of the stream, and then I got off, and then I left and came back, and we were, I don't know, 200 or 300 points lower. So there we go. So here's the open, driving down, previous day point of control here, lower time frame algorithm. The green line is your VWAP from overnight. Let's mark out, because I always forget, the open print right here. There's your New York open. And let's have a look at the mag. Tesla up 0.36%, Nvidia 2% up, Meta trying to get to 2% up, Google 0.63% up, Amazon almost 2% up, Microsoft just under 1% up, and Apple slightly red. So Apple and Tesla, the weakest ones, but Tesla just about to go green here and starting to drive. Can Apple do the same? Can the market have a nice bullish reaction today and try and get back up and claw back to some of those levels where we can possibly set a lower high on the daily and the hourly? All right, so right now we are tapping right on the top of this wedge on the hourly. You can see this wedge, we're just tapping on it, and these are the key levels above. So very, very focused on that hourly right now. Every time we've come up there, we have failed. This would be attempt 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth attempt, the top of this wedge on the hourly. So if it can't get through, then potentially a wash back down. Like I said, not in a huge rush this morning to take a trade. I want the market to shake out, especially given Nvidia, right? Its earnings were a mixed bag there. So I think it would take 24 hours or so for the market to really price in what it wants to do with Nvidia, and that will have a knock-on effect in the other chip names like AMD, Intel's, your SMCI, Micron, all of those things, and that will then filter through into the rest of the Mag 7 who use all the chips. Morning, everyone. Morning, Max. Morning, Yellowmar. So remember, we're having an inside day, and we're currently trading inside the overnight session, coming back, testing the London high right now. Can we hold sort of that London high range? This kind of range here is your London highs. If we can get acceptance over this, it's possible they can try and do this squeeze higher if we can get acceptance. The easier trade will be over these levels here. If we can get acceptance over here, that will be a very, very easy trade. Or it should be. Nothing's easy, but it should be easier than what we're currently seeing. Right, mixed bag across the board right now. RTY basically flat. YM just about up. ES 0.5% up. NQ almost 0.8% up. So NQ definitely the stronger of them today. But remember, volatility on Nvidia very, very likely. So you have to be very, very careful of that. If they suddenly start dumping Nvidia, that will just filter through into the market today. Morning, Ramus. Patient here at the open. Let's have a quick look at the book. Biggest order on the book, same guy that was there yesterday. I think I talked about it in Discord last night when I was out. 21,000, right? 200 lot down there. You have 100 lot around just above 21,280. And we have some small selling above in sort of 20 and 30 lots, just above price right now where we are, up into 400, but nothing major. So maybe they're looking to get filled and drag the market up towards that previous day high. That's what they would like to do. Once we get up there, we can think about what's next. So again, tapping on this key level. Are we going to go for a breakout here? Does everything keep failing over and over again? Remember, we've had numerous attempts here, 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 here. Probably if we look left, we've probably got more overnight as well from yesterday. These guys as well. So lots of stops up there, but so far just cannot get going anywhere near through it. So that's why I just want to let it shake out. Buyers have failed to get through that the last few sessions. I would love to see an upside move. It's not that I'm particularly bullish. It's that I think if the market can go upside first, clean up the liquidity, it offers a better short on the higher time frame later on. But no news has been particularly bullish. Nothing in the market is telling me it needs to go higher. It would just offer a better trade if it does. We're also opening up everything flat. There's your open. There's your previous day point of control. There's the lower time frame algorithm. Here are your flow zones, both sets of flow zones. So everything flat right now. No expansion where we have, moves above and some nice dips to play off right now. Just very, very choppy. No reason to push a button. Your range this morning so far, pretty small. Nvidia starting to sell here, starting to give back already, now down under 132. So now only 0.5% up. Remember, that thing was over 2% up at the start. You will see volatility while they sort of shuffle around and decide what they're doing with Nvidia, which is why I'm being extra patient today. So yeah, Nvidia in a big sell this morning. Three points back already. It's coming back towards previous day close right now. Let's see what they do if and when they close the gap. Do they find a bid there, or do they start washing it down? Gap fill on Nvidia will be down to sort of 131.27, somewhere around that. So almost there. Another 50 cents or so, and it's there. And once that gap fill takes place, we can see what's next. ES having a big drive up here while Nvidia is selling. What does the market do? Nvidia finding a bounce so far in front of that level. Would like to see it close the gap. Very much like yesterday, market unwilling to close gaps at the moment. Definitely don't trust a breakout here on the market yet. If Nvidia starts failing previous day close, we can look, it might trade all the way down to previous day low. And remember that Newsweek was really nasty on Nvidia. That came well underneath, all the way down into 125. So PDC here will be key. If it can hold PDC or not. Still no trades, just waiting. Letting this do what it needs. ES relative strength here, really starting to get going here. ES trying to go for a breakout. Hard to think about pulling the trigger for me on NQ to join here when Nvidia is just hanging around and hasn't fully closed its gap. I know you're thinking, why is he talking so much about Nvidia today? It's just because it had big earnings yesterday, and that volatility will drive the market. But most of the market now green. In fact, all of the Mag 7 now comfortably in the green. Nvidia still selling down here, so still coming down to check previous day close. This is why I didn't want to take that breakout long. Here comes PDC. So I've just got an eye on Nvidia here. Now closing the gap. Now, does it find some bids here at previous day close? If it doesn't, it's going to start washing all the way down towards previous day low and pre-market low. And if it fails that, it's going to come for that Newsweek low down at 125.50s. Right, that when we did that move yesterday, obviously we've got more liquidity on the book now, but when we did that move yesterday on Nvidia, we come and swiped out all of yesterday's price action. So PDC tagged on Nvidia. And you see why I didn't want to take the long, even though ES looked good. Letting this shake out again. We're still inside range, inside daily range, inside overnight range, inside our opening range. Nothing. There is no breakouts in the market. No one in this market is a breakout trader. We're still in a liquidity building phase. Nvidia now red on the day. All right, so it's given 2% back. Can it find a bounce off its previous day close? The answer so far is no. Starting to sell here on Nvidia. Sub 131 now. All right, so if this is going to get weak, we're going to come for previous day low on Nvidia. I'm watching the market to see how it responds. The rest of the mag currently is very, very strong, right? The rest of the mag, 1.5% up Tesla, 1.05% up Meta, Google just under 1% up, Amazon almost 2% up, Microsoft 1.2% up, Apple 0.65% up. But Nvidia is selling aggressively here. It's going for previous day low. This is what we were talking about. It's why I didn't want to get trapped as a buyer at the highs. Hopefully it saved you guys today, even though the rest of the market looks strong. I knew that there would be extra volatility today based on Nvidia. Nvidia is going for previous day low. It wants to come and take out previous day lows. Coming into pre-market low right now, 130s. If it fails here at the 130s, then you've got to think it's going to go for previous day low. If the market starts to roll with it, we have to see what happens. If they can catch pre-market low, it might backtest previous day close, and we can see what's what. I know I'm talking very fast this morning, but there's lots happening right now as we come into VWAP here on the NQ. There's your VWAP tag on the NQ. Watching to see if Nvidia is going to keep drifting lower. It definitely feels like it wants to keep drifting lower here. Finding a little bit of a bid there, Nvidia, in that pre-market low. A little bit of a bid there. Remember, we're going to get lots of volatility today because of Nvidia. Just be careful. A bit of a bounce there on Nvidia around the 130s. I still really expect this to go all the way down for its lows. I'm going to be honest. Watching this short, joining a little bit of this short breaking down under VWAP. Remember, we can close the gap all the way down here if we're going to get very, very weak. We can go for that London low into 251s. There's 270s, 260s. Looks like we're going to go for the London low, 251s. Fantastic. Be careful here. I'd start taking a partial here. You can expect a reaction here. And then if we're going to get weak under London, we're going to watch that Asia high, 216. And then the Asia low, 2100. But again, make sure you're taking a partial into this London low if you joined this with me. All right, I just joined momentum for a breakdown here to here. Very small, and it was very much based off Nvidia. We can get a bounce here. We can see if there's a re-add. We're going to watch previous day close on Nvidia. And I want to see if the rest of the mag's starting to sell, which it is. Nothing red yet, but they're starting to drop down. So here's your London low taken. All right, coming into that Asia high now. 218, remember? 218's Asia high. Lots of volatility on this tape. Lots and lots of volatility on the tape this morning. Previous day low on Nvidia is in sight. Another $1. Nice, Peter. I don't normally look at Nvidia like this, but it's the morning after earnings. I knew the volatility was going to be there. I knew everyone's eyes is going to be on that. So we're drifting into previous day low now. So 128.50s on Nvidia. If they hold that, they have a chance to rotate all the way back up to PDC and VWAP, and then the market might find a bit of a bid there. If they let go of it, we're going to go for potentially that news wick low. That is still a lot lower. It was a good play. Yeah, it's still working out here. Still looking good here. Into the the Asia high here. So this is Asia high right now. The 15s we just tagged into. This is Asia high. You can see it on this chart right here. Asia high is where we broke out from. If we fail this, we go for Asia low. If we bid off this, we can rotate back inside what we've created overnight. So far, a lot of weakness in this one play. Now you see why I didn't like that buy, even though the ES looked good. It's just a case of understanding what is driving the market. Market now closed its gap. That yellow line is the gap fill. Make sure you are taking a partial there on the gap fill. So NQ has successfully closed its gap there. Lovely work, team. So right out the gate, managed to get one this morning. Failed breakout of the high while Nvidia was selling. That was the divergence for me. Knew the market would look at Nvidia, and we started joining once it became clear and obvious. Arguably, we joined late under VWAP, but I wanted to make sure we had clear targets, and I wanted to make sure the market was going to follow Nvidia, and it wasn't a fake out. Out of runners at the gap. Well, that's all right, Thumper. That's still a fantastic trade. Hey, Liron, starting the XFA off right. I love it. Great work. So Liron, one of my newer students, passed his XFA yesterday. I think that might be his first one, potentially. And now up in the right way already. Here comes Nvidia then. Previous day low. Tagging it right now, or just sat just on top of it. So finding a little bid here in front of previous day low on Nvidia. We have been bearish this morning in this market. We can still trade down into the Asia low. But what I would say, I'm watching, I have to be very, very careful here as we come into an area where we broke out from yesterday. So we're back testing that. Remember, we've got this uptrend, downtrend. We're in this wedge. We talked about at the beginning. We can keep building liquidity here until something is ready to give. So just be careful. Don't be short too late in the hole here. We had a big move there. That was a 200-point move live on stream together. Don't be short too late in the hole. So a nice little bounce here. Still hasn't taken out its previous day low here on Nvidia, but it's finding a bid in front of it right now. Anna, I'm not looking at crypto. Sorry, mate. Maybe later in the day if you're here, I don't mind having a peek, but we are trading the futures right now, so very focused on those, especially at the open. We're only 15 minutes into the day. So you can think about a 15-minute bar. What does that 15-minute bar look like? Straight down. So we're going to expect a retrace, and I'd say how we act into sort of 270 will be key around here. Where we broke down from will be key. If we fail this, we're going to go for lower. If we can reclaim it, we can build liquidity to go for higher. Nvidia, big bounce there off previous day low so far. So they're trying to absorb that level. We still haven't given that like one bounce to go lower yet in this market. All right, normally you'd expect that relief bounce and a retry. When will that not happen? If we're going to do a V-shaped recovery. If we do a V-shaped recovery, there's no like single bounce to go lower. So can this come all the way back up towards 270? And how do we act when we get there? Do I mark out the IBH and IBL for the London markets? I do not. I do not. I just mark out the highs and the lows. So maybe this is it. Just a single tiny pathetic little bounce. Hopefully not. We would like this market to drive a bit higher first before just failing. Come on, market. Don't just fail here. We would like a drive higher first to give us some better risk reward. Here we go. Much better. Keep going, market. I'm not in anything right now. I'm just looking for some relief to come and fill some of this, and then want to see how we act there if we start failing here. Looking for some form of bear flag here, and if we reprice and hold, then we're going to trade it upside. So just looking for better RR right now. Don't want to be short in the hole down here. Want this to find a decent bounce high. Nvidia all the way up to PDC. So it drove from the highs all the way back down to previous day low, now finding a bounce all the way up to PDC. It's got VWAP above it, but the rest of the market now selling off. All right, so the rest of the market now freaking out. Meta starting is now red. Google is now red. Most of the market trading about 1% down from where it was maybe 5-10 minutes ago. All right, so let the volatility settle down a little bit. Yulamar, if I miss the entry, can I enter at VWAP? Possibly. I mean, you don't want to just have a sell here. You want to let it build, right? We're going to look for structure. Look for that failure and then sell back down, or like something like this and then sell back down. If you just enter short here, you might get your face ripped off and it can keep squeezing. So we're going to look for a pattern. We ideally want a bear flag up there. If it fails to give it, it's going to be tricky. Nvidia failing PDC there, couldn't get up into it. Watch your ATR this morning, folks, because the volatility is high, so your ATR can spike very, very quickly on these M1 candles. Must watch your ATR. So new lows are coming here, it feels like, on this market. Don't want to get trapped at the lows. We would have preferred a bounce higher. It does not want to give it today, apparently. Market's weak. Tesla now red, Nvidia red, Meta red, Google red, Amazon about to go red, Apple about to go red, and Microsoft about has the strength today out of all of them. Yeah, Amazon, Apple, and Tesla are all at their gap fill areas. So if they don't find a bid, they're going to go red on the session. If we're going to keep selling, it's maybe we go for previous day low or Asia low. What's that level? Into 10s maybe. Would have really liked a drive higher first. Can I please tell you the times? How are you making Asia and London sessions? Because they've got the wrong ones. Yeah, we can go over those in a bit. Let's just get through this first, Camille. But let's open this up. I'm using 8 o'clock till midnight, and then 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That's what I'm using currently. So I still want lower prices right now. I do not want short low of day, even though this is breaking down. I would prefer a push higher first, but it's not offering it. The draw right now is into this London level, which is 107. Let's mark this out. Is that right? 106. Right, this is what it's trying to take out. If it gets through there, it's going to go for previous day low. That's the draw currently. But we're very, very weak. And I don't want to just, get caught at the lows and then we get a retrace higher to then go lower. I don't want to do a short down here. I was hoping we could drift up here, but we failed to do that. I'm stuck at previous day open, which I'm actually going to get rid of. I don't want to see that today. Too many lines on the chart. So drifting lower here. ES coming for its gap fill. It's almost there now. Nvidia coming down towards previous day low. It hasn't quite taken it, but it's getting close. So expecting a potential reaction here soon. And I'm from India, by the way. I watched your videos on VWAP and SVP. Those tools have been using lately in my trading along with CPR. Nice tutorial. Keep up the good work. You're welcome, Anant. You are welcome. Yeah, remind me later on in the session when the market calms down. I can have a look at some crypto names for you. Morning, Mr. Slim. So still, Nvidia still protecting that previous day low. Market trying to find a little bit of a bid off it. Most of the market now red. Tesla red, Nvidia red, Meta red, Google red, Amazon red, Apple almost red, Microsoft 0.5% green. All right, so that's what we have this morning. Market went from green to red very quickly once Nvidia started selling. And the big level we're looking at here is Nvidia into this previous day low. I just want to see how we react. Once we get through that, I want to see how we react, and then we'll see what's what after that. Yeah, new home sales about to drop. I don't think that will really affect the market today. It's probably not even red folder news normally. But yeah, you are right. Top of the hour, right? Then we think about that new hour and 4-hour bar. We are coming back down towards, think about this, what we said this morning, this sort of wedge. Failed breakout, failed breakout, failed breakout, failed break under, failed break under. We're coming back down towards this level. I don't really want to be short down here like we talked about. And the short scenario gets worse and worse because down here we have that Bollinger Band. Even though we can clean up those levels, we're getting extended on the daily again once we do that. It would need to be a huge, huge sell-off in the market across the names to convince me I'm going to get short into that lower Bollinger Band. ES about to close its gap. Oh my gosh, I wish I'd held on longer here. ES about to close this gap. So previous day low taken now on Nvidia. The gap now filled on the ES. Previous day low now very, very close on the market. We've just swept Asia low as well. So the next level down you're looking at is a trade into 55s on the market on the NQ. 155 would be previous day low in a massive sell here this morning. Can it come and clean all these big levels out? Tapping into that uptrend now. You can see it on your chart right now, tapping into that uptrend. Previous day low about to get tagged here. Very, very close, looking at 55s. Almost there. Wonder if they just waterfall it through it. Very, very close into that PDL. You see that green line? That's previous day low. Can I get rid of this blue box? Don't want that. Not sure it's on that chart. There we go. So it can sweep liquidity in. If it keeps going, can come down for that low of week. But like we talked about, it's very risky with the Bollinger Band there. ES failing hard now. ES now failing hard under PDC. Nvidia underneath previous day low. Did we just tag it there? We're through it now. Wow, what a sell-off this morning. Sorry, folks. Should have been holding more size for this move. This is what happens when you get that extra volatility in the market. So now a 330-point sell already. We've just swept previous day low. You want to be careful here. So if you had any, start covering some. Make sure you're covering some. Remember, we've got that buyer on the tape that I talked about right at the beginning. And the same guy from yesterday, 21,000. He's been on the tape for a couple of days. 240 lot down there, looking to get filled at 21,000 flat. So starting to see a little bit of relief here in the market. You've got 5 minutes until that new hourly and 4-hour bar. We've done the damage in the market already. All right, that was a big, big move. Very, very bearish this morning. Market in a big sell-off. We do not want to short the lows, so we really need some form of bounce. But unfortunately, this is what happens when bulls get trapped at the highs. We had a 1 minute bounce there and pretty much a waterfall down. Yeah, it was a monster trade, Peter. We made some good money on that at least. The ES still got to take out its previous day low. Crawford, I don't know if I have a video on key levels. It was probably on there. There's a video called How to Trade Key Levels on YouTube. It's probably on there. Still selling here. ES coming into previous day low. You've got to think, if Nvidia keeps going here, it's very, very, very close now to taking out its Newsweek low. It's driving the market lower. I would love to be short in this. It's just not giving any relief for me to get a short into. There's no bear flag being built. We're extended away from our flow zones. We're just in a big old wash here. And Nvidia hitting its 200-day moving average here as well. Simple moving average. Just a heads up. From a technical standpoint, long term, that's normally a nice level that institutions like to buy off long term. Doesn't mean it has to absorb here, but there are institutions which just place buys on stocks and ETFs that they like on the 200-day SMA and close their eyes and go to sleep. They don't care if it goes up or down following that. They know long term it should go up. This thing's very, very weak here. That buyer at 21,000, he's still looking to get filled. 250 lot down there. ES getting close to that previous day low now. Look at the VIX, absolutely ripping faces this morning. 1962s. If we can break out of 20, that's previous day high. And then we moonshot up and the market keeps bleeding. If it fails up there, we might get some relief on the market. So previous day low about to get hit on the ES. And that Newsweek low, on Nvidia about to get taken out. So anyone who's a buyer or had calls in this market this morning on Nvidia has been absolutely destroyed. Yeah, news in 1 minute, 4-hour candle in 1 minute, new 1-hour candle in 1 minute. Remember, the 1 hour, we've just broken down now through all those levels. All right, we've cleaned everything up. The only level left now is this sort of Tuesday low of and current low of week. Right, but I'm going to remind you now, this is what I don't like. We are into these lower Bollinger Bands. Today might be the kind of day where we come and do something like this, which is unusual. But the risk parameter, if you're taking this, the chances of this happening are very, very slim over the history of the market. Doesn't mean it can't happen today, but over the history of the market, it does not like to trade beneath this and close beneath it. So just be aware of that if you're thinking about continuation trades today. What's up, Ryan? Hope you're good, mate. So 15 seconds till we get that new H1, H4 and news. Remember, we are extended to the downside here. It doesn't mean it can't keep going, but we are definitely extended to the downside. Yes, JD, I only look at them on the daily chart. Doesn't mean we can't get through it. We have anomaly days. They do happen. ES about to take previous day low. Still not quite taking it. Very, very close. Think about what this H1 bar might look like. But the market is very risk off right now. Does not like any of the news. Here we go. Cleaning everything out now on the market. Everything getting absolutely wrecked now in this market. New lows. Want to be careful here. All right, these are new lows and weak. If we're going to break down under Tuesday's low and stay heavy, we can think about it. But, oof, this is heavy, heavy, heavy. Watching this hourly bar and the transition in this. Wow, that is a major sell. Look at the size of this candle in the first minute of the new hourly in H4. Sweeping all levels now. Cleaned up all levels across all time frames. We can think about daily levels now that we can look at. Next level would be 20,775 and then 20,700 flat if it's really going to clean up those daily levels. Can also have a failed breakdown here. Look at the volume that came in there. So all those stops versus low of week. Look at this volume. They just got absolutely wrecked. That is a big old candle. It's an 80-point candle there. 90.75 1 minute candle there, folks. Big candle. Yeah, it was off the new hourly bar. We are in a major sell. It's just, I want to get involved in this. I just need something to risk off. And right now, we are just drifting lower. There's nothing to risk off. Unfortunately, there goes Nvidia. So Nvidia's now taken out that 125 level. Right, and finding a little bit of a bid there. So that 125 Newsweek low, it just took it out. Right, so in theory, all calls and puts now have been completely burnt on Nvidia. It's done the damage both sides now. All right, so it gapped up and then failed all the way back down, took out its Newsweek low. We're now finding a little bit of a bid as it finds a little bit of a bounce off that. But look at the market. Look at the difference when I read out the market numbers now. Tesla, 3% down. Nvidia, 4% down. Meta, 1.5% down. Google, just under 2% down. Amazon, 1% down. Microsoft, a quarter of a percent down. And Apple, the same. All right, those were all nicely green this morning. So things can turn very quickly. Once Nvidia went into the sell, it started having effects on the rest of the market. So we're going to watch to see what happens now. Do we start failing back into some of these levels? Okay, or do we get price acceptance up for a squeeze back into like retest some of these? We can think about all these things. I'm going to also do a few anchors this morning. Where was our sell point? Probably here. Let's anchor this. I'm only really looking for shorts, but we are extended right now, unfortunately. So I want to see a trade back inside. Maybe come and fill up to a previous day low, maybe fill the whole M15 gap a little bit, and then we can think about a short. Definitely not guessing the lows on this market is one thing I won't be doing. What did happen there as well on the VIX, took out previous day high and traded back inside. So you might get some relief here in the market. I mean, yes, arguably, Ryan, but I wouldn't really call it low-hanging fruit now. I think we've done the damage. Because that would require a trade outside the daily Bollinger Band to come and take out that level you're talking about on the daily. Not as nice. We also filled the gap on the QQQs. On the ETFs, we've started filling some gaps, just to make you aware of that. If you look at these gaps from those big flush down days, from the Trump tariff talk, and from why can't I think of the Chinese AI name, DeepSeek, and from the DeepSeek day. So we've filled those gaps on the QQQ and the SPY now. Possibly some relief here coming in the market. And it needs it. It's had, a 485 point sell-off this morning. So we would expect some relief here. Watch your sizing, please. Watch your sizing and your stops. Morning, Eva. Yeah, as a target can be. If we start reclaiming this level here, all right, be aware of a potential squeeze. You'd want to see this fail. If we start to reclaim this, we can squeeze up, and then maybe we see how we act here for the trade back down. Previous day low is going to be key. Remember, this was a big kill candle. If we reprice this, everyone who chased this is going to be stuck. ES now through previous day low. Nvidia finding a bounce. We might find some bids here. It is possible that the market bids up here for some relief. Can be very short-lived, but it is possible that that's what the market wants to do here, just to make you aware. We are very extended to the downside. I'm not saying take a long. I'm just trying to say, don't short at the lows. All right, do not short at the lows. I'm looking for a short. I just want it to drive higher first. We can also think about maybe a fib. Somewhere up here would be much better. We have to see. Didn't even make it to previous day low. Come on, market. Get going upside so we can have another trade later on. Ideally, we don't get a V-shaped recovery. All right, that would be problematic for us if we go for a V-shaped recovery. We would like a little drive higher, and then some form of failure pattern that we can think about a short back down. Maybe previous day low, maybe a bit higher. And we're watching previous day low. If it gets through previous day low, I know that there's potential for a squeeze, because breakout traders, all right, this is the weekly low. Weekly traders are short versus this. If we trade inside, they get stuck. Weekly traders will want to protect previous day low right here, and the low of week, which is where we're at right now. They will want to protect that level. Your ATR is massive. I'm going to keep reminding you of that. This is big ATR. When it's moving and it looks small, it's moving 30, 40, 50, sometimes 90 points. All right, potential bear flag here. Don't like what ES is doing. ES is inside previous day low here, so we have some slight divergence. The VIX is trading back inside its range as well, but the Qs do look weak here. I'd say this imbalance candle here is important. This big volume candle here is very, very important. How we act in this candle here. Look at this volume. It's massive. If we reclaim that candle, we can squeeze higher. If we stay heavy versus that candle and previous day low, maybe they just form the bear flag there to go lower. Hey, Coop. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're having a good week. I know you're slammed with work right now. Do they bear flag this? Ideally, we'd go higher first, but just feels unwilling to do much right now. Here we go. So some continuation possibly. This is the key level where we absorbed from. ES starting to fail, previous day low now. Have to be very careful here. Watch your ATR, folks. I cannot say it enough. Like, even this candle right now has already printed, what, 50 odd points. You must watch your ATR. Size down. You do not need to be trading minis in this market. All right, just size down. If we start to taper here, it would be a problem. Remember, this is a very risky short if you're taking this. You are outside. I cannot say this enough. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. You are outside the daily Bollinger Band. We have clear targets, right? We've been talking about this since November last year, cleaning up all these guys. It's very, very possible. But really, the better trade would have been a drive up to here, allow the Bollinger Bands to expand, and then take them out. The probability factor of that is much higher than what we're currently looking at. But we can only trade what's in front of us. So if you're going to short near low of day, you have to be very, very, very careful. More China tariffs are there. As that just hit the wire. I haven't seen anything come up this morning, oddly. Fed bar. I haven't seen anything come through for financial juice. Maybe it's just not hitting my wire this morning, which is annoying. If that's the case. Yeah, great work, team. Great work. So hopefully you caught that short. If you did, if you caught some of that big old short with me, smash me some W's in chat. Hopefully you caught some of it. And even if not, hopefully I kept you safe from that failed breakout while I was watching Nvidia this morning. Nvidia now finding a bounce, coming back up towards previous day lows. So Nvidia now sort of in line with the rest of the market. So I'm probably going to stop watching it now. Done its damage. We can move on and look at the market in general now. Let's see who nailed that with me. Marek got it. Christy got it. Florida Man got it. Dopamine, Vince, Max, Peter, Mike, Ian, Jeff, Thumper, Andrew, Ramos, Jack, effed it up, my bad. Don't worry, Jack, it happens. And Calypso. Jack, you weren't picking bottoms though, were you? Because I know we talked about that yesterday. You said you were open about it, that you like trying to pick reversals. You've got to be very, very careful doing that. Nice, Max. Max with a big old day again. Picking bottoms, Jack, this is why I say not to do it. Exactly why I say not to do it. So previous day low coming up here on the NQ, back into those flow zones. If we get acceptance back above previous day low, you need to be careful. We can drive way, way deeper here and come and back test. I'm going to change some of these H1 levels. We can come deeper here. All right, on the H1, we can come deeper into this, back test some of it potentially. Just try and let that be a lesson, Jack. This is why I'm so pushy about not picking bottoms. This is exactly why. This is what happens. Don't pick bottoms and tops. Just join the momentum. Remember, I didn't even pick the top today. I waited for it to do a failed breakout, proved to me it wanted to stay heavy, and then we got involved. We have lots of buyers trapped up high. We could do with some relief here. We're coming into some levels, sort of 060s all the way up to 21,112, that Asia low. We have like anchored VWAPs off the highs we can look at. Like there's lots of levels that we can trade back into here for some relief. Your ATR is massive, absolutely massive. So be careful. Here comes previous day low. Sorry to hear that, Jack. Sorry to hear that. Never nice to hear, but just try and let it be a lesson. You might not want to hear it from me today, but if you're doing the same thing over and over again and you're experiencing the same outcomes, let that be a lesson for you. Just don't do it. All right. There's no need to pick tops and bottoms. Catch you tomorrow, mate. So big old squeeze back up here. in towards this anchored VWAP. If we get through this, is this an old point of control? What is this orange line? Oh, it's the HLO. Can get rid of that. If we get, I was like, what is that? If we can get through that, all right, we have a big old H1 imbalance to fill, but we're coming up to the edge of that sort of, what do we call it? Like the wedge. We're coming up towards the top of the wedge. See, we're finding some sellers here at the anchored VWAP for now. These are big levels where we're drifting into right now. Right, don't just be shorting into them. You will need to see failure patterns. If this wants to do a V-shaped recovery, it will do a V-shaped recovery. Right, we're looking for it to set a lower high here in the session. We're still inside initial balance. We've got 15 minutes left. PDC being checked here on the ES already, so it's a big squeeze back up on the ES. It's got VWAP hanging out above it. I'll also let's do one of these off the lows. We know average price of buyers. Shorts probably got stuck at the lows there, chasing the breakdowns, where I was saying I don't really love the short here. I'd much rather it goes higher. Here we have to track the US markets closely as its trend and closing affects the GIFT and Nifty index, which in turn affects the opening trend of our main index. Yeah, makes sense. It makes sense. So US market, biggest market in the world, it affects everything. So ES, they're still tagging into PDC, not through it yet, and then it's got VWAP above it. And we have this anchor VWAP right here. This is from the sell point this morning. If we trade through that, we have PDC up here, a deep pullback flow zones, and the VWAP. So let's see how we go. Starting to reprice here though aggressively on the M5. Yeah. We talked about that, and you might have missed it. I did a fib earlier from this high, from where we sold down to here. Right, bear flags like to be built in here. I'd like a deeper retracement today because we are so extended. Tagging into that anchored VWAP then. Looking for extensions higher and then some form of failure. Nice, Peter. This is the edge right now of where we started cracking that wedge on the hourly. We can reprice all the way up. Remember, we were thin down. We can go thin back up, but I expect a lower high to be set at some point. QQQ into its VWAP here. All right, QQQ tagging its VWAP. SPY almost into its VWAP. There are some big levels around here, folks. Some big levels around here. And then once we get through these, it can continue to squeeze. We just have to wait for those failure patterns if they're going to come. If they're going to give failure patterns, we'll wait for them. You love those retracements. Yeah, big old retracement here. Oh, like a frog in my throat this morning. So currently stuck at that anchor. It will flip these flow zones if it's here too long, and then you can maybe get a deeper squeeze up. And the next level it can squeeze up to would be up here if it gets through that anchor all the way up into PDC and VWAP. But currently, your ETFs are rejecting the VWAPs currently. Starting to see a little bit of selling here versus that anchor. So you can see how useful those anchors can be. Do we hold previous day low? Do we get acceptance beneath that? Remember, we're still inside of initial balance. This is very similar to yesterday. We have a huge initial balance. We can get acceptance. Your RBS level is sort of here now. All right, it can retrace down here and hold it for a drift back up here. Failure under this will allow a rotation lower. Remember, everything under, what is this level today? 2134. everything sort of under here, this is under the daily Bollinger Band. Remember we said we don't love shorts under here. The chances of this doing this are very, very slim. Very slim. I cannot remember many days where we've done that move. We'll go over it again and again and again. But if you look at the daily, how many times can we get moves outside of these daily Bollinger Bands? Okay, one, but it closed inside. Another one here, that was a weaker one. Not often. You see what I'm saying? We're going back years and years and years now. The chances of it doing it are very slim. That's why I use them on the daily. It just gives me a little bit of edge to know, hey, do I really want to be short at the lows of the daily Bollinger Band? Do I really want to think about an expansion lower? I don't mind, right? There's a difference between being short up here and taking some covers and holding a partial for moves down here. That's very different to being short down here. Totally different things, right? Oh, wrong chart. Yeah, ES wants to get to its view up. Remember, SPY, QQQ got to its view up, found a bit of selling there, still holding. SPY almost got to it. It can drift a bit higher for the breakdown level, found a bit of selling there. ES has not tagged it yet. NQ has not tagged it yet. Thank you, darling. Magic. Coffee turned up. Crawford, just normal Bollinger Bands, mate. Normal Bollinger Bands. Remember, a normal Bollinger Band, your middle of that Bollinger Band is a 20-day SMA, which is why I use the 20-day. And then the outside of the Bollinger Bands are 2 sigmas, 2 standard deviations from the 20-day. Market does not like to move more than 2 standard deviations away in general, especially the NQ and the SPY. Does not like to move more than that. Reactions more than 2 standard deviations are normally overreactions, and at that point we need retracements. Normally, obviously, there's always things that can change that. Things like COVID, you would have seen 3, 4, 5 sigma moves outside of it. Things like a big war event, you'll see things outside of it. We can always have black swan events. Can the tariff be a black swan event? We will have to see what happens, right? At the moment, very strong sell off any tariff news. Still failing to get above this anchored VWAP. Okay, we are failing to get above it. This is a potential bear flag, but this is your RBS. So if we get under here, there might be a rotation. Right now, lower time frame is bullish. We're starting to flip and trying to look for drives higher right now, and that can change very quickly. So still holding above previous day low. What's this saying to me right now is, so far there hasn't been acceptance beneath. What we're also looking at, remember this, we're rejecting this level right now. This level here. These are big levels. There's lots of confluence here. Either we fail to move lower and we get acceptance back inside that level, which means all of this is basically an excess, and we get a squeeze back up, which is what is looking like it's starting to happen now, or we get acceptance back down. We reject here and we get acceptance back down, which will mean lower prices. Right now, here's the squeeze. Right, this is why you just can't guess it. You have to wait for failures to come in. This wants to V-shape all the way back up. It can V-shape all the way back up if it wants to. Sort of kicking myself for not grabbing some of that long once we got acceptance back through here. Even that was not bad. This for me is a safer play up into this level here. So where can H1 reprice here? I mean, it can go all the way back up to 270 if it wants. Madness, you might think absolute madness. What are we looking at? But look at the markets. Look at ES. Look at the spiders. Look how we're repricing. It doesn't want to move beneath that 2 sigma on the daily Bollinger Band. All right, so we're repricing higher right now. Shorts are stuck at those lows. Look at the expansion here. Oh, no worries, Crawford. I've never seen them normally set to 3. Normally they're just set set to 2. Wow. What a squeeze. That feels like a miss from me, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So back up towards our view up here, towards the deep flow zone pullbacks. We're starting to fill some of the imbalances here on the M15. Back up to the 5-day on the spiders. So I'm just having to look around. There's so much happening and we're moving so quickly this morning. It can all change very quickly. QQQ not quite at PDC yet. It will move higher. So view up PDC here. Big level up here. View up and the PDC. Big level up there. There's a big squeeze up. If they want to go and back test it, they can. Remember, the longs are still counter trend from a technical point of view. In a tiny bit of this short, just for that counter trend, just for that move for a back test, already locking in big money there. Fantastic. That happened very quickly. So off those deep pullbacks, we'll see now if it can hold here. I was just a little short scalp from here, looking for it to fill this imbalance back down to here, and then see if it's going to continue higher. And if it starts to fail, I can think about more size for this rotation. Higher the better, though, for me right now. The higher it goes, the better. Oh, no, don't just fail in one go. Okay, fully out there. So filled that big squeeze candle. The tough technical trade, that. If it washes aggressively here, I will need something like this to be involved in. All right, something like this. Otherwise, this was just a counter trend back into here off that squeeze, thinking it moves back up higher now. Anat, I don't. Yeah, someone was asking me that yesterday. I don't. I feel like I should. I think I'd trade them very well because I think NQ is one of the hardest things to trade. But it can give you amazing risk reward. Like even that scalp from 43s down to, so basically almost, 40 points in 1 minute. It's crazy. Yeah, nice, Peter. We're still, sorry, still waking up, belching on stream. We're still holding structure right now, but I do think there is a trade back down towards the lows, possibly setting up soon. We'll have to see. If we start flipping this last squeeze, if we start failing under here and under here, this is possible. Still too early though right now. We're holding flow zones right now. Too early for me. I'm not going to pick the top. Didn't mind a tiny little scalp with a couple of micros, but nothing else. Nice work, team. Lots of you got that long. Just having a quick look on the book to see if there's any big size coming back on, but not really. Biggest size I can see right now is down at 20,700. Yeah, exactly. That was the same as me then. I was in decent profits from that original short this morning, although I look at it and think that is rubbish. That is rubbish, but I was covering, where do we take it? Here to here? I wasn't. Well, I think we were down here. I was like, we need a pullback. And it never came. It's just bulls are completely trapped. So we just go into a mega wash. Mega wash. But nice work today, team. Nice work. I mean, we've been here an hour. We've had some nice trades. Again, winners on stream. Again, keeping you guys safe. Again, hopefully, even if you're not trading well, hopefully you're learning. The biggest thing I want to do, try and teach you guys. The volatility today was coming from Nvidia. That's the only reason I watched Nvidia this morning. I would not normally watch one single stock, but when we've got one of the most biggest factors in the stock market, especially for the NQ, reacting off earnings the morning after, we have to watch it because it's also Nvidia, like Tesla, is very volatile. These things will move 10% on a day. When you're looking at Apple and stuff, they're not going to move that much, so you don't need to watch them as much. Yulimar, just like reframe that in your mind of you learn. So next time you see it, don't try not to get into the habit of talking about misses and coulda, woulda, shoulda. I do that as well. Just try and reframe it of, I didn't get that one, but I'm going to get the next one. And next time I see that pattern, I'm going to be on the trigger to get it. We're not going to get every trade every day, but next trade mentality, right? The next trade will set up, whether it's today, the afternoon session, tomorrow, next week. There's always going to be more opportunities in this market. As long as you are keeping your capital, both actual capital and mental capital, you will be able to take that next trade. It's when you've burnt out and you've used all your capital when you're in trouble. So don't worry. No such thing as missing a move. You just get the next one. On to the next one. You just got to have that next trade mentality all the time. It's like playing sport, right? You're not going to win every game. You're going to lose some. You learn from it, missed opportunities or whatever. And the next time you play that game, you make sure you execute better. We're seeing some DeepSeek news hit the wire here. What is this? It's the first time I've seen it. UBS, DeepSeek creates opportunities for China ADRs options. They're clearly long in the Chinese ADRs there, UBS. Just let's say anything we can to get the ADRs moving, which have been dying a death since COVID. Neo, Li Auto. I know Baba had a little bounce, but still nothing really. Okay, we are still underneath view up here. Here is our anchor, this red line. If we start selling, there is a chance to rotate back to the lows. ES coming back towards its view up. So ES has been above its view up. Let's see what we do here. Let's see, we're trading back into flow zones and view up. These are some big key levels starting to play out here. Very, very tough to be looking to execute here, but there is a downside potential if it really wants to get washing. We're going to need to be very, very patient. I would rather see a kill candle, a pullback in, a hold, and then think about taking that trade down. Let's just put, because right now we're still holding. Remember, this is an RBS level. You can think about it. RBS, so far holding, to try. Can still do this if it wants to. If we start failing, we can think about it differently. Very simply, there is some form of channel here. We also have to think about PDC on the ES and previous day low on our current one. All right, because so far we haven't had acceptance under this. IB low is here. If we're going to do a rotation, we're going to come back for IB low. If we're going to hold, go back for IB high, which is right at the high of day. I'm going to do this as dark green because that's actually, what was the time there? Hang on, folks. Let me remove that and just change that to an anchor off the 930 print for us. This candle should be about the same. All right. Let me do that as dark green. All right, there we go, folks. That's our New York candle. Max up 6,800. There we go. Nice work, buddy. Time to call it a day, I would say. That is a beautiful, beautiful day. Ask yourself, do you need to be trading any more? If you're going to trade more, maybe set a max loss. So maybe say, right, I'm willing to give back, I don't know, 10% of that. So 680, or maybe just make it 700. I'm willing to lose that and that only, and no more than that. See what I mean? Make sure you're protecting yourself. Back to PDC here on the ES. Coming back towards previous day low here on the NQ, and that anchor view up off the low. Remember, this is where buyers are trying to hold. Buyers who bid from this low, this is their average price right now. If we start getting stuck under there, we open up that rotation. So this was a failed move higher. This is still a pool of liquidity which we were holding. This can still be a 2-try, which is why I'm not taking it short yet. It needs to prove to me first, because this can still go higher right now. PDC here on the ES. PDL here on the NQ. Watching closely. I think so. I'm out for the day and I've closed all positions. That is great work. Great work, Max. So did you get the short and the long, Max? Did you get both? I don't know what ATAS is. Is that a brokerage? You got both. Well done, Max. All right, so it's trying to come and sweep these lows now into previous day low. Now, does it stay heavy here? These are big, big levels, remember. This is your anchored VWAP. Big old levels here, big old levels. Watch your ATRs as well. Remember, you must watch your ATRs. One little pop can be much, much bigger than you think. 25 basis points there. What did I see? A European bank? It's suddenly flashed up. Definitely not here. So this can be a sweep to go high. Still trading between this anchored VWAP off the low and this New York VWAP right now. Right, still building liquidity here. We're going to do a true rotation. We should technically go back to IBL, but you know that IBL is very, very extended today. Tesla just gone green here. Apple holding up just about. It's like TradingView. A friend of mine uses it. Oh, I've not heard of it. I'll check it out. I use Ninja. I'm the same as Peter. I use NinjaTrader. I think NinjaTrader is the best platform out there for executing trades. Once you're proficient and know what you're looking at, I think NinjaTrader is fantastic. So coming back towards a 5-minute sort of BPR or imbalance here on the market. These are very, very key levels for sentiment for the rest of the day. We're sort of tagging into it. If it starts to fail beneath it, there is a potential wash. If it keeps holding it, then maybe those shorts at the lows get squeezed. But so far, we're looking good. Just tagging into it. Just want to see if we're going to wash it or not, really. Can we sort of break beneath, I guess, 21,000 flat, basically, is a big old number for any lower prices for the remainder of the day. But remember, we are at that lower Bollinger Band right now. The chances of going lower on the day are very, very slim. So still holding that anchor. If we think about this on a 5-minute, right, this was a big squeeze here. This is where we set the squeeze. So we go back to a 1 minute. We're holding that level. Oh, we're back to errors on TradingView again. Fantastic. All right, so these are the big. Oh, I don't want to do that. These are the big levels right now on the right chart. So all the time it's holding this, it has a potential for a squeeze. If we start failing underneath these levels, underneath the anchor VWAP, and maybe we get a retest of that IBL from VWAP to IBL. But right now, it's not showing a willingness to try and do that. Your ATR is massive. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. Just be aware of it. One little swipe can be 50, 60, 70, 90 points. I think has been the biggest one on the day. What did we record that at? 92 points. Your biggest ATR on the day on an M1 candle. Be careful. It's finding some bids here. Be careful. There's a seller on the tape. 21,137. Decent size up there. He's trying to get filled. There you go. So here's the squeeze. Look at the size of this candle. It's being very, very aggressive here. So if they build this liquidity up top here, you need to be careful about this look, right? This kind of look here. Be very, very careful. Maurice, been here for a week. Love the knowledge. Thank you for joining. Just waiting now, letting the market build its liquidity, make its move. I don't mind what it does, just letting it build the liquidity, make the decision. Feels like it wants to drift higher off that last squeeze out, but didn't take out the highs on the lower time frame. Let's clean this up a little bit, get rid of these. Let you know what we're looking at anyway. Can it get all the way up here to back test? I guess is the big question right now. Last move on ES was a failure as well. Some of the mag trying to go green now, though. You are starting to see it on some of the mag. Apple just is 0.5% green. Microsoft just gone green. Tesla green. The rest lagging behind. Yeah, upper green line. This green line is your normal view up. This is view up off the open. This is anchor view up off the lows. Yes, trying to hold its view up here. It's trying to build somewhat of a bull flag here to try and get higher, but it's going to really struggle, I think. Because we've retraced pretty deep. And it's the 100. 100 big level there. PDC hit again on ES and VWAP. So now we're definitely in a building liquidity stage. This is a time to just back off, be a little patient, let the market do what it needs to do, join when it's clear and obvious. Either we break down or we go for the squeeze out. Pro trend is lower, but we did extend to the downside aggressively today. Three wins done for the day. Nice work, Jeff. Nice work. Yes, back to view up again. It's getting tight here. Market's getting tight here while it builds. How long we got left? We got plenty of time left till lunch. Plenty of time. What are we doing, market? Come on, make your mind up. Stuck between all the view ups right now. Stuck between the flow zones. Building liquidity. It will make its move when enough people are trapped, for sure. Yeah, it's a tricky one because it's had a good retracement. We haven't really retested down here. So it's either, are we building liquidity to go deeper, maybe take these guys out, or are we just about to roll and retest this if we go from a fib to fib? We tested 50%. But we're just stuck between seller's average price and buyer's average price right now. So we're just doing the dance. This is the liquidity build between here. Feels like one more squeeze higher is possibly on the books here before they sort of drop it back down. Can NQ get to view up, I guess, is the question. Is that where they want to reprice to? What's the H1? H1's got a way to go. It can come all the way back up to 267s if it really, really wanted to. Yeah, but I do, Mr. Slim, but not because of what they're called. It's because of people trading hourly bars and 4-hour bars, right? It's not because some secret algorithm. It's because institutions are trading hourly and 4-hour bars. So you get time frame traders come into the market and out of the market. Not because some mad old bastard thinks he got kidnapped and made the algorithm. Yeah, exactly, Coop. The fraud in the machine. Market still building here. Feels to me like it needs like a pop and a drop, like a drive up and then the wash back down. It's building a ton of liquidity up here now. Probably most of the volume on the day is done here now, is it? Let's have a little look. Yes. Most of the volume is here now. Oh, actually a little bit lower into 88. So just sat here, reason quiet, just waiting really, waiting for the next thing. Can it drive up to view up and maybe a 61 fib? Like a little pop up there and then fail? Or are we just going to wash? I'm watching everything. It's just the range is massive, so I don't want to get stuck. For sure, yeah. I always look at gold and think I could trade that really well. Maybe they're trying to go and sweep out all these guys now. How many screens I have? 5. 1 small one and 5, 4 big ones. So vertical, vertical, horizontal, vertical. No, I'm not in anything. I'm still just waiting. We've got like 12 minutes until a new hourly bar. I'm wondering if the new hourly bar does a little thing like this. If it remains that this is the hourly high, I'm wondering if the new hourly bar pops into here and then slams. I still like a retest lower. It's just how do we get it, you know? There's still that seller at 137. Still not been filled up there. Still doing the dance between these VWAPs here. So buyers are still in control off the low. This blue line, this is average price of the New York session, and this is average price overnight. All right, so we're dancing in between these VWAPs now. I don't really want to trade around VWAP. We're still much longer. I'm going to go to sleep. Come on, market. Still looks like it's trying to build that micro inverted head and shoulder type of look. I'd like to see a drive higher and then a fail. That's what I'd really like to see. Come on. Still that seller up at 137 and a buyer down at sort of 160. Am I correct? We are in a range between the two VWAPs. So it was 21, 150. What do you mean 21, 150? The range, yeah, the range is like here and here or here and here. But really, the dance is here right now. Remember, deep pullback flow zones are still down. If we start letting go, there's still a trade down to here. It's just too early right now to bet on that, right? Because it can still pivot. It would need to get under here and stay heavy for me to be convinced about a short. It can still come up here. Still got unfinished business above if it wants to go there. And it's also possible we go like sideways for a little while. You know, we've had huge moves, remember, huge moves. Back down to where they found bids before, back down to that anchor view up. This is the key level right here. We get under here, I'm thinking about that. I want to be careful about this move. I want to be careful about this move up and then a wash. 8 minutes until an hourly bar. I might just wait for a new hourly bar here. I favor the shorts, but it's like I don't favor them right now, if that makes sense. I favor a short for like a retest towards the IB low. It's like, how do we get there? How do we get involved to get there? Back to previous day low here again. ES back to PDC. It's starting to sell now. If this just goes, it's going to be really tricky. Back into that 5 minute imbalance we talked about as well. This is our third tap back towards it now. Probably mark. Well, I think I did mark it out on the screen before, but draw it in. This is like the big engulfing candle that came right here. No. There. On a 5 minute bar. That's where bulls came flying in for the squeeze. So starting to let go of that anchor view up and previous day low here. Still very early, still just in that imbalance, right? We're in the same levels. Nothing's changed yet. We've got a new hourly bar coming. What worries me about the hourly bar is if it wants to do an absolute face ripper through the current highs all the way up here, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's 100 points to then fail. Building lots of liquidity down here into 36s though. We're holding the 5-minute flow zones down. Everything's still saying lower, higher time frame. Definitely going to make it hard. I can tell already they're going to make this hard into the new hour. Who's talking right now? Yeah, 15-minute gap still holding. It's just this 5-minute gap I'm watching. That's exactly it. We retraced the 15-minute. I would have liked a drive a tiny, tiny bit higher, but we did retrace that whole gap. You're absolutely right. But now we're trading between a 5 and a 15-minute. And we're trading between the VWAP still, really. So 15-minute gap was basically to the top of this. 5 is this grey box, and VWAPs are all here. So this is a liquidity building phase now for the market. Once we get this new hourly bar, we can see what's what. But I don't like the look of the current hour. Look at the current hourly bar. If we close like this now, it is absolutely gross. It would have been better if we were closing here, failed breakout above, reprice some of this, and then come back down towards the lows. This is an indecision, all right? So sellers here, buyers here, nothing. That does not fill me with confidence, build me with confidence. It doesn't fill me with confidence, but we are rejecting this sort of range down here so far. I don't want to get too short into lows like we talked about. If we get short into the lows on the Bollinger Band, it's really, really, really tough to think about a continuation lower. I wanted to get short on a drive higher so that I have really good RR. Problem now is if we execute a short here, we are executing a short at that lower Bollinger Band on the daily. I do not love that as a play in general. As you know, we've talked about it. Coming back to this area here, this pullback level. How long have we got now? 3 minutes left. Well, I think this hourly bar is going to do something nasty. It's going to do something nasty. I've got no doubt about it. It's just which way is it going to go? We should, in theory, go lower. The problem is the Bollinger Bands. In theory, I'd be looking for a trade back towards the IB low, right? From VWAP to IB low. ES starting to try and break down now. Sore today. See some chip news hit the wire as well from the USA. What dates you got? December 18th and 19th? No, definitely not. You mean a close above them? I mean, there was a close above them, but it was barely, wasn't it? And look what happened on the 18th. We just slammed right down into the middle the next day. Make sure you got the right settings on there. The 18th and 19th, we drove up. We got a close above for one day, and the close above was by like 20 points. And the next day, we opened up and slammed all the way back down into the 20-day moving average. 1 minute until a new H1 bar here. This is very, very tricky here. Gut says we should come down here. My concern is that H1 bar does this and then this. But we should come down here. We're still holding these imbalances right now. If they just slam this on the H1 bar, it's going to be a nightmare. What do I use for news flow? Financial juice. They're going to slam it, aren't they? They're going to slam it on the H1 bar without letting me in. You're just going to let it go in this new bar. You bastards. No, I'm using it on NQ, Florida Man. I'm not watching the others, so I haven't checked them. I use it on NQ. Here's new H1 bar. Old RBS level here. Old imbalance here. No close beneath it yet. Just trading inside it. We have a new M5 one a little bit higher. We've left a gap open higher now as well. In here. Where we just failed from. Where those flow zones are. Where previous day low is. It is getting tricky here. I like this market less and less and less as this day is developing. I want to like it more and more and more, and I'm liking it less and less and less. So drive back up into the 5 minute that was above us that we just failed from in previous day low. Said what concerns me is if this H1 bar wants to take liquidity out from the previous H1 bar, it's got to drive very, very high. Got to drive out and take out 163 if it's going to take liquidity. All right, so we've got to think. This bar H1 bar closed here. We have a long wick. If it wants to ruin the H1 traders, it's got to come up here before it comes down. Can you make this any harder to trade? Are you gonna ruin my life? All right, rejecting M5 right there. Come on, market. Come on, please do something. Please, we had so many nice trades this morning. Why do you have to do this? Oh! Little reaction there. The RR is getting worse and worse and worse, though. As we drift lower, this RR is getting terrible. This is just an M1. An M1. Yeah, it's stuck. It's got to build liquidity, hasn't it? What worries me is shorts were trapped at that low of day, extended underneath the Bollinger Band. And I'm not sure we've trapped enough bulls yet. And that worries me. We should be wanting to rotate to the IBL off VWAP. For sure, that's like a normal play, right? We talk about it every single day. But is it going to give us an entry of good RR to get there? That's the thing. That's the problem right now. What is the RR? Where are we on the daily? We're at that daily bowl. So yeah, I want to come and clean up all these guys here. Yeah, I want to clean these guys up and maybe these guys one day. But the chances of doing this right now are slim, and I don't want to execute a short here. I want to execute a short up here to get down. And smart money will be thinking the same way. They're either already in this short or they're thinking this is not where I want to get short. I do not. Why would you want to get short where we found bids for the first time today when the sell was all the way up here, and you could argue up here, it's a tough one, but I think, did we get that one? Oh, we got this, didn't we, through VWAP, right? Why would I then want to execute a short here? I don't. I want this to drive up, fail, execute a short up here for good RR. And that's the problem. If it goes down, it's going to go down, so be it. But is it giving me good RR to get involved right now? It's not. It's not really. Could argue, hindsight could argue, maybe you could have had an attempt at that. But really, you can't attempt until we're under this level. And now the RR is rubbish. Yeah, exactly, Peter. Well, hey, I've made my money. I'm not clicking buttons. That's a good start, right? That's a good start. But Max, to avoid it, I'm going to go to the gym. Thanks, Alex. Bye, everyone. I'm positive. 11 trades, both sides, 7,825. Good work. Good work. Get out of there. You made good money. You should be in the gym already. We are building this kind of thing here right now. Yay. Nice, Peter. Catch you later. Great work today. I know you got the short and the long as well. Good work. Good work. Still that buyer at 21,000. Still there. And the seller still at 137. He's still there as well. He's still there as well. All right, at least half of you on stream have not smashed that like button. Do me a favor, team, smash that like button. We've had some nice winners. We're just having to slow down a bit while the market makes a decision right now. If you want to support the stream and support me, you can always become a member or sponsor the stream. Or you can use my codes when you're my affiliate codes when you're buying Tradeify or Apex. Use code FCT. Always give you the best possible discount. That's how you can support the stream. As I'm here every day for free, giving you bangers. And then I can reinvest that into the stream, into equipment and stuff like that. We are making lower highs and lower low on the lower time frame, but like I said, the RR is getting worse and worse and worse here. These buyers underneath this VWAP off the low are currently stuck. If we stay underneath this VWAP, they are currently stuck. The buyers off the low. If we start reclaiming it and come back up to the New York VWAP, obviously. Yeah, I have a code for TPT, but it's flow zone, all one word, just flow zone. They won't change it for some reason, which is annoying. Don't know why, but they say that they can't. Don't believe that for a minute, but hey, what are you going to do? All right, so back to the VWAP, back to the flow zones. Everything's starting to sort of go a bit sideways, right? So we had a nice trend, and now we're just sort of doing this with the flow zones and doing stuck between these VWAPs, stuck between this gap, and there's a little gap here. So starting to just be sideways action right now. I still think this wants to retest back down towards the lower bowl, but it's just not willing to give good RR to get there. I can get my words out. Maybe here's a little bear flag. Maybe it's trying versus that M5 imbalance above. I don't know. I don't know. What do you want to do, market? What do you want to do, market? Jimbo, if you've done the course, you can. It's being built for Ninja at the moment, but we have a like a bunch of indicators that you can use with settings in the Discord that you can use for now until the code's finished for Ninja. But yeah, it's coming. Do they do a little bear flag here and break down again? We're holding this old M5 imbalance. Remember, this was the engulfing candle, and we're holding it. Dips in are holding. We haven't closed below this. So buyers that held this engulfer are currently in the money. When we close beneath this, it might want to close that gap. But at that point, the risk reward has become terrible. That's the current point of control on the session. Most of the volume based here, just in New York, and the value area low. We keep rejecting value area lows for 2160s, or I'd say even 80s really. We keep rejecting there, we might get acceptance lower. If we start reclaiming that, then there's a lack of acceptance underneath it, and we trade back inside the H1 bars. Oh, nice, Jimbo. Yeah, so when you come into the Discord, just go into the Ninja tab. Everything's there for you. Any questions, shoot me or Coop a message. Am I going to trade Ninja online or continue with TradingView? Oh, you mean when the flow zones are complete? I don't know really, because the problem is with Ninja is I can't do things like this, like flick over. So probably a bit of both. So back to the top levels again, reclaiming. ES back to VWAP again. The liquidity build continues. There's not enough chips and power to meet AI demand. Who said that? Amazon CEO JC. That's because there was Amazon news on chips this morning. Looks like ES is coming right back to VWAP. Yeah, it just tagged it. Just tagged it. Again, I haven't traded since that short. Stuck here waiting. If they break above and hold above here, this move into here becomes possible. Yeah, especially if flow zones start to support that. And then we can think about liquidity pockets higher, which is what it's trying to do right now. You've got to remember the H1 liquidity is right here, right? So be very, if you can get along, if it sets up along up into this, great. Right now, this is a bounce. Some failures in here. It can still fail here and rotate. It can get above this and go. It can get above this, sweep and fail. This is basically a giant pool of liquidity, and it's going to abuse it one way or another. I'd like to be involved in it one way or another. You can see why I didn't want to short the lows here. I'm starting to try and break. So it's going to run for liquidity. 30, 40s, 65s, VWAPs, and PDC if it can get going. If it can get going. This is sort of value area low. So it's, at the moment, it's failing to get acceptance underneath value area low. Starting to reclaim that sort of 100 level now. It is tricky. This is not the super clean action we were hoping for the bounce. Yeah, I'm the same. I like Ninja for executing. I think it's really good for execution. It's not the best for teaching on, basically. Definitely not. We're starting to break out here. Is it going to start to turn these for the drive higher into this? This is a question I'm sort of posing at the moment. Not going to just chase this up. It's a strong 5-minute and 15-minute bar here. I think it's going for that hourly high. This is what I was talking about. The hourly high is something that, right, lots of stops are here. Can very easily come for this hourly high, blow these guys out, and then trade back down, maybe to here. Can reprice this whole thing as well if it wants. So that's why I was like, I don't want to get short here because of this new hour. Now it's taking a bit longer. It's taking 15 minutes to set up. There was no real long down here. I mean, you can argue that, but I don't really like that when we're in a downtrend. And here we haven't pulled back. So if you're in this, like, you can start looking at taking partials here. You must take a partial into this hourly high of 65 and then hold a runner. Remember, this is a straight squeeze up now. Look at the last 5-minute bar. Big old squeeze up. No dips back down into it at all. Sellers here into 37s and then 50s. Once we take that hourly high, I'd be very, very cautious. There's literally no dip down here. Is this a joke? Are you kidding me? This is all morning. All you've done is let me call out, and then you've just gone without me both ways. You gotta be kidding me. So we've swept a lot of levels there. I haven't taken the hourly high, but we've swept everything before it. 4-week bill auction, guys, just see that? Hitting a wire. Lots of internal levels getting swept there. You're going to pull back? You're going to pull back. Problem is now it's taken out some low-hanging fruits as well, just to make it even more hard. Just to make it even more hard. But if we can pull back into here and hold, I mean, the problem is, like I said, it's taken out these low-hanging fruits. If we can pull back in and hold, we can maybe go for this, and then maybe we're thinking about a short later on after this sweep of the hourly. Book's starting to get a little thin here. Really? Really? Getting frustrated now. It's not going to let me in. That's the market. Yeah, it's off. It's off. So hourly high here. I'm not going to get an entry now. I needed this to come and let me in to do this, and it's gone. It's gone. So we're going to go and take that hourly high and possibly squeeze up above and start feeling some of the imbalance. I don't want a long in there because at some point I'm assuming they're going to set a lower high up there. Some point up here. Oh, what a pain. What a pain. It had the chance to do it here. It couldn't do it. It swept the low. It didn't give an entry and it just went. I mean, it's magnificent. So the reason I don't want to be in long now, if you're already in, you're fine. But I don't want to be in long near this hourly high. We're watching that hourly candle coming in towards VWAP here. And we're about to sweep that old hourly candle. If it expands, it can go up towards 270 if it really, really wants to get going. That's the old hourly low. So what am I looking at? Oh, I'm already on it for you. Yeah, you can see. Hourly high. Here's your imbalance. So somewhere in here, it might get a failure for a trade back down inside. Oh! I'll be right back. Just going to use the bathroom. Maybe get another coffee as well. All right, have we done it yet? Almost at VWAP. Did we take the hourly high? Not quite. Still think we should take that hourly high out. Did NES take it? Not quite either. It should still take that hourly high out before we think about doing anything else. So I'm not chasing this long. Didn't give me the entry I wanted, which is fine. It happens. Has never retapped into that big old M5 drive higher. Dang it. Dang it, man. They're really not going to take it. I don't even trust dips here. I should trust dips to try and take this hourly high out, but I just don't trust this market one flipping bit right now. holding flow zones. Didn't go very deep. Didn't even touch the VWAP or the M5 imbalance it left. It did do a little sweep, though, of this level. It should want to come and take this out, technically. Really, if it's going to do it, I'd rather a better RR. Like I said, I was looking to buy it way down here, I think. And it looks like it's going to go. Here we go. Do it then. You can do it. Yeah, that. Dang it. Dang it. I'm working on my American accents, you know. They're not my best. I've got some other accents, but I think my wife would tell me off and I'd probably get cancelled, which is ridiculous. What? Do actors get cancelled for doing accents? I don't know. It's weird, right? You're not allowed to do accents of people now, but every time I meet someone, especially here in Los Angeles, they're like, "Oh, are you British?" Yeah, and then they're trying straight after to do that, being like, "Oh, how do you do?" I don't get offended, even though no one sounds like that in England, but it's the first thing an American would do is take the piss out of me. Where was my favorite place to DJ? One of my favorite gigs was in the middle of the jungle in Medellin in Colombia. That was awesome. It was like 30,000 people in the middle of a jungle for a rave. That was really cool. I was trading. I was DJing with Le Youth. And who else was it that day? God, my brain can't think. There's an artist on Armada. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me in a minute. And Shaggy as well, which is pretty cool. I got to see Shaggy perform on the hip hop stage. Yeah, there, Ibiza. I was there like every summer for a decade. Height of my career, I used to do like 16 shows a year in Ibiza. So I played every single club there. When I finished my career, I was headliner in Privilege, which is the biggest club in the world, which was closed the last 2 years. It's just been bought by the group at Ushuaia, so they're going to reopen it. I forget what they're calling it. They're about to announce the lineup. The lineup is insane. Carl Cox returns for Sundays at Privilege. I would do anything to see that. And they also have Jamie Jones is moving in there. Fisher is moving in there for a residency. So I think that would become the premier club moving forward again. Here you go. So this one I didn't trust it. Here's the dip down into the 5-minute imbalance. The thing is, I just don't trust this market right now, how it's building liquidity. Now, normally I should want to be thinking about buying this right now, but I'm not. Do I ever miss it? Do you know what? I just have fond memories of it. I was saying this to the guy I used to play with who's still touring now. Like, I have really fond memories. I can look back now. I was a bit, how do I put this? I was a bit burnt out and tainted and had enough of the industry. I don't think it's a nice industry. I think you burn out real quick. I think you get used and abused. I think everyone tries to steal money off you. I think there's too much politics between the labels and promoters and all this stuff. But I feel I was privileged. You know, I never thought I'd have the career I had. We had, a couple of top 40 hits, had a top 40 album. I'd toured for 10 years all around the globe. I ran our own label, was very lucky to travel the world doing what I love. So I just look at it as like I had an amazing time. I still make music with people and for people. But yeah, I don't know if I miss it. There's no desire for me to go and to play again. Like when I watch, I've gone to a few clubs recently to watch friends do it, and I've got no appetite for it. I'm old, man. I'm in bed. No joke. I'm in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock every night because I have to be up at 5 a.m. to trade. My average set time when I was DJing was 3 a.m. in the morning. There's no way I could do it. Did I play in Poland? I don't think I actually did. I played Ukraine, Russia, Belgium, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway. I don't think I ever played Poland. It's got to be one of the few places I didn't play. Trying to think. No, I don't think I did. What's the club scene like in Poland, Marek? Is it good? Lithuania I played. Latvia I played. Lithuania I played an amazing festival. Really, really good. I remember I'd been on the road for 7 days. I'd done like 21 flights in 7 days. I was burnt out. I'm going to be not honest, I was pissed off and I was in a mood when we got there. I didn't want to be there. I just had enough of the traveling. I hadn't slept, and the promoter turned up late to pick me up, so I was in a foul mood. Anyway, I went and got like an hour's sleep, and then we headed to the festival, and it was one of the best shows. It was amazing. It was like in a little island with a moat around it for a festival for Live Nation. It was really cool. Christy W, I wish I'm sleeping on the couch by 9, but not in bed till 11. I honestly, my wife gets annoyed, I think, because I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. I've got to be up early for the market. I'm going to bed. All right, so here is the back test of like this kind of level here, right? So we didn't take out the hourly high. That is ugly, right? That we didn't even sweep that hourly high. I don't think we did anyway. No, we didn't. That is some ugly, ugly action right now. I'm glad I'm saying I'm not going to dip by this because the main trend is down. What I wanted to see was this, and then to allow this. It needed to sweep this for me to be confident to take that trade short. And I'm not really feeling this dip long when we've been here so many times now. Right, this was a better trade here, but this should have really gone and completed it, and it failed to do so. I might eat my words right now, and it might go all the way back up, but I really don't think I want to be dip buying this 30 minutes before lunch, so I'm just going to wait. If we think about this, this was like back testing where we broke out from, right? So it's trying to hold this. I'd almost rather let it get up there and join if it's going to do it. I'm not going to force my way into this today. We had a really good early morning, so just being patient. I usually don't go to bed till 1 or 2. Yeah, but you're based in Florida, you know, so you can get away with that. I'm in Los Angeles. So it's still 8:30 a.m. for me in the morning. It's really hard to get up early and be switched on. So holding previous day low, holding that anchor V up right now. It wants to take out this hourly high. It's what it wants to do. It's failed to do it. The issue now is that was a pretty strong sell, all right, and they can create a lower high here and then go down. What's ugly is they're leaving liquidity. We've talked about this the last few days. Normally, the last few days, we've talked about leaving liquidity at the lows, where they've left liquidity at the lows. And we're like, we haven't swept it. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Right. Today, we swept the liquidity. Where is the liquidity? Here, green line. Right. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Green line, and we can go back. Low of week here. Right. So we've taken out weekly lows. We're not getting an auction lower. We're failing to auction underneath weekly lows. We're holding inside weekly range, right? Which is why my bias is to take out H1 before we think about retesting that low. But maybe the damage has been done and there's no more downside today. That's also very possible. Lots of ifs, buts, and maybes, I know, but it's because low-hanging fruit's gone. Right, the low-hanging fruit's gone, so... You know what? I'm like those who turn up stream every day. Once the low-hanging fruit's gone, that's it. Why don't I trade the afternoon session instead? My stats are nowhere near as good in the afternoon session. So I trade my strengths. My strengths are the morning session. Not good in the afternoon. I haven't really back-tested Asia and London enough because I'm asleep to see if I could trade those well. But I think I could probably trade those all right. I think they're pretty clean. Or at least recently, I feel like Asia's been very clean. Yeah, exactly, JD. I think morning's much easier because you have, once we got that initial balance set, you have the institutions playing to where they need to get to, and by that time, if they've made their money, they're sort of backing off. They're backing off the market. So there is a big order who's just come on. 21,150. Where is that? Right, towards the eyes. He is a 606 lot. That's some pretty decent size up there. But when we're just hanging around, look how everything's starting to flatten out. Here's our range. It's still decent size, probably 100 points or so. Anchored VWAP, anchored VWAP, VWAP, flow zones. They're all flat. Look at the direction of them. They're flat. When do we get nice trend trades? Aggressive. There's your trend. There's your pullback trend. Now we're flattening out. Not as nice. Not as high probability once we do that. Asia stays clean for a while until people get used to it. I don't believe in stuff like that, TR. The markets have been going forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. They're not going to change. The market moves on hundreds of thousands of orders, you know. It's not going to change because a few more traders are trading it. Arturo, lesson learned today. Have a good day. I hope you're all right, Arturo. Hopefully you're all okay. I'm just going to remind you one last time. Daily wick underneath bowl. Right? Still underneath the bowl, the daily wick. It does not want to close under that range. Aren't we meant to get 24/7 trading soon? I don't think they were changing the futures, right? I think they were talking about doing that for stocks or something. Did they actually pass that? I remember reading about it. I didn't pay much attention to it because I just think institutions are not going to change. They're going to trade when they trade, not when they're not. You can see the US talking about nations are making preemptive policies, changes due to tariffs. Trump policies played a large role in Apple's jobs plans. Waffle, 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 like we've had the last few days. Tariff, 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 without anything meaningful. I think the market's getting a bit sick of it, to be honest. Yesterday, we had comments like, yeah, some of the tariffs we're going to do, some of them we're not. Oh, that's helpful. Market can price that in. How about you tell us which ones you're going to do and which ones you're not? Well, he can't because he doesn't know. Because a lot of this was posturing to get results that he wanted on other fiscal policies. So it's the market's getting fed up of it because the market likes certainty. It wants to price in policies. It doesn't matter if that's good or bad. It just wants to be able to price it in. ATR still not bad considering the time of day right now. Still pretty decent. So failing off the main New York VWAP again. Back to PDL again. This is messy. Back towards that trend line and anchored VWAP again. So there's a buy order here at 21,050, 130 lot. There's a 50 lot down at 21,020s. There's another 50 lot down at 21,000. And there's a 607 lot up at 21,150 to sell. That's your current range, basically. Just sitting out this. Not long to go now. I would have liked one more trade, but it's not really setting up. And that's okay. Like we said, we stick to the process. We can't force anything. If it's not going to set up within our process, we don't trade. Maybe we get something this afternoon, but not going to hold my breath. Maybe tomorrow, Friday. Do we get a slingshot Friday? Ay, ay, ay. Lee Kim, I'm using Bookmap. Bookmap, yeah. So all my level 2, I use Bookmap. I don't read the tape. I'm just really focused on where the big pools of liquidity are sat on the level 2. So I use Bookmap for that because it's easier to read. I can see when people are moving orders. You won't see that on the DOM, right? DOM is not going to tell you where someone's had an order and then moved it. So that's why I use the Bookmap. So if you have CME data, Lee Kim, and you buy Bookmap, you can buy it with their CME data. I think it's like 15, 20 bucks a month or something. It's worth messaging them though. They used to do it. I think ES was free. So sometimes they have little deals. It's always worth dropping them an email. They're pretty good at responding. You can see how we're holding. Oh, I'm sorry, team. You can see how we're holding this back test for now. It's got highs here. It wants to take out. It's just a little messy because we also have a bit of an engulfing candle. This sell was strong back down. So until we reprice this, it's not great. And then that point, we haven't got great RR. And at this point down here, we don't have great RR. So the trade has kind of been and gone today. I think the only good trade, we took that snap through VWAP once we started breaking here. Maybe hindsight should have added on for this. And some of you took this long and long back up. And at this point, there was a chance for it to go. It failed, it washed. And now we are setting our range out. Failed below, failed above so far. And as most of you know, I do not like trading ranges. I absolutely hate trading ranges. As a reminder, we are still, well, currently, we're an inside bar, right? This is failure. Breakout shorts are trapped. We are inside bar all the way up to here. This is previous day bar. Yeah, so this is inside, and this is your initial balance. This is inside. So we expect chop when we're what? When we're inside. This is an inside bar on the daily. Right, so previous day low, green line, previous day high, red line. This is inside. This is where chop can happen. Outside, currently, shorts are trapped, right? Breakout shorts, you've got short here for an outside extension. They're currently trapped. They might not remain trapped, but currently they are trapped. Clint, when an order comes on the Bookmap, like 21,150 that I mentioned, does that attract price? It can do, yeah. So when they use big orders, there's two ways of looking at it. One is to use a wall to stop it moving through, but more often than not, it's like a magnet to try and drag the price there. They can also manipulate though, right? They can move those orders around. We saw that 1,000 lot buyer and seller on, I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday. It might have been both. And he was moving around a lot to try and manipulate price up and down and up and down and up and down. $8:45 Bowman speech. Is he really? Wow, thank you, Douglas. Would have forgotten that. In fact, I didn't even have it on my market watch, so thank you for that, my friend. Big pun. I would love to run a cognitive study of how quickly a human brain can gather, analyze, and act on numerical data moving as quickly as the dominant order book. I bet it's really low. Yeah, massively. Like 100%. That's exactly why I use Bookmap, because there's no way. If you see like 1,000 lot here, you look at your level 2 and then like you look back and then he's not there. Are you remembering where he was? Are you remembering where he danced to? There's no way. And in terms of the tape, yeah, you could filter the tape so it's only showing you like big lot size. But really, what you're looking for in the tape is like big red running through at once, right? Or big green for that squeeze running up. Otherwise, there's no way you're reading the lot size quick enough, especially when it's running quick, especially when that tape is moving quick. There's no way. I'm in total agreement with you, my friend. There is no way. That's got to be very limited. I remember when I was trading small caps, I used to try and tape read, and I used to use the level 2 because when small caps it was a bit easier because you could see, where people were stuck. They'd make it really clear and obvious. But there was one guy, I'm not going to say his name, who said he was very good at level 2 reading, and he used to run a course on that. Now, I used to be in a couple private trading rooms with this guy, and it would amaze me how every single time he would pick the top and the bottom perfectly on a small cap. I mean perfectly, flawlessly, all the time. Couldn't understand it. He sold a course into how to read level 2. I'd never bought it because I was like, there's no way you can teach me anything I don't know. I just can't read it quick enough unless there's a big clear order there, which is exactly what you're saying, Big Pun. Anyway, about 2 years ago, he got caught. It was all bullshit. All his charts were all photoshopped. He'd never actually traded, and he'd just been selling that level 2 course. Nightmare situation. It shook the small cap community because he was a big part of it. Anyway, if you trade small caps, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Trading journey at 40s, you made 10 points on the move down and 10 points on the move up. Hey, 10 points is 10 points. So they're stacking bids here. 21,050, 21,037, 20,025s, and 21,000 flat. They are stacking bids down there. But again, coming into lunch, someone said earlier we have Douglas. We have Bowman's talking right now, apparently. I didn't have that on my schedule, so thank you for that. Liquidity still thick on the books, not like thinned out or anything. But so far, we are rejecting this imbalance, this kill candle, right? Rolled over, rejecting it, left these equal highs up here on the hourly highs. Don't love that. They reprice this, they go for it. If they keep failing here, they can run these guys out and then rotation down to IBL. I don't want the short down here to here because we're underneath the daily Bollinger Band. So I'm running out of room to trade right now, basically, is the best way of me saying it. I'm running out of room to trade. And we still are dancing between VWAP off the low, New York VWAP, and overnight VWAP, right? Condensing price in here. The trade would be easier once we get outside of this range, right? So if we're going to break out from here and trap buys in and then do something like this, then we can get a rotation because now we have good risk reward. We can partial, hold runner for breakdown underneath, right? Rather than shorting down here, hoping for that move. Just about to say, tell me I'm on the right chart. Otherwise, I'm doing everything on the wrong chart again. So just over 13 minutes left until lunch. Mixed bag on the mag still. All right, so Tesla 1% down. Nvidia 3.25% down. Meta 0.25% down. Google 1% down. Amazon flat. Microsoft 0.38% down and Apple 0.31% up. So Amazon and Apple the strongest. They've got relative strength in this market. NQ is weak as a whole. Looking across the board, YM 0.61% up. RTY 0.25% down. ES 0.08% down. NQ 0.55% down. So NQ the weakest out there today. VIX is trying to find a bid here. It is trying to find a bid. I'm watching VIX, how it reacts into previous day close, because if it can reclaim that, it's got that inverse head and shoulders look on the M5 for a potential squeeze up but back towards high of day. If it does that, that's when the market can actually start letting go. back into previous day low again. Remember, so far, everything under previous day low has been a failed auction, right? You have breakout shorts at previous day low. They are out of the money right now. All the time we're holding previous day low. Breakout traders on the daily and the weekly are out of the money. Nothing we can really do here, folks. In fact, I'm going to even delete this. Still holding this level here. This was where we drove up from that squeeze earlier. Lower time frame, we could put one on here. We're trading between these. Tyson, I only really had to put them. I only really put it on the hourly this morning. 3 touch points is normally good, but it's not like a pattern I use a lot or anything like that. It's just understanding, where the sellers are and buyers. So here we could see we built lots of liquidity here, and we failed to take it out. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher low, higher low. Failed to make the high low. Snapped, cleaned everyone out. So that's all it is. So dipping back down into this block again, this area where we found bids this morning again. Well, let's say this morning, basically 11 o'clock, where we found bids at 11 o'clock. Where we drove up from, soaked, coming back down into that level again. This is where buyers came in for this breakout here this morning, right? So we trapped under here. Buyers came in, they rebought this. Do they rebuy it again for the move up to here? If they don't rebuy it again, this is where this opens up. I don't know what we're going to do here. I really don't. Feels like it's going to wash without giving us any form of entry and signal to get in here. ES already sweeping this level here. It's already just taking it out. So weakness from the ES in sweeping that. Bit of divergence, I would say, effectively. Still not swept it on the NQ. Are we going to come back for lows here? I'm watching this very, very closely at this point. It's not a trade I love, but if big momentum is going to come in, I'm going to watch it. Watching ES if it can trade down to PDL. Problem is, this is going against everything I like in that we're going to look short at the edge of the Bollinger Band. It's not ideal. We've now swept that level, so it didn't really give an entry that I wanted. This is low-hanging fruit here. Like we said, it should go view up to here, but we really wanted to clear this out, and then that would allow a much better trade. But the market's being tricky today. It's not clearing levels out on the higher time frame before it does moves. It's tricky, 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 tricky. But the lower we go, the closer we're getting to levels where buyers came in. Double distribution day. Yeah, the profile definitely looks like it, doesn't it? Especially on an hourly. You're right, TR. Okay, so low-hanging fruit taken there, or is that an equal? Do we take it by a tick? We took it by a tick. need to see next drive up fail or a closure beneath and then next drive up fail. Getting very close to lunch here, remember. 7 minutes away. Remember, this is where buyers came in this morning. It's your RBS. Failure below. First high low. Breakout. Dip back in. Held. Dip back in. Held. Dip back in. Does it hold? Right? Or do we get a failure down here? If it starts reclaiming this liquidity here can be an easy take. We are still in range that we've built through this, let's call it late morning. So really from 10 o'clock till now. That's the hourly high that it can run for. Still, like, prefer lower prices in general. It's just not giving a good setup to get there. Market's starting to sell here a little bit, though. Nvidia 4% down now. Coming back down towards 126. But that low-hanging fruit has just been taken. So very tricky. If you're going to get involved here, we're extended from PDL. We're extended from flow zones. We are in that M5 imbalance that we created on that squeeze up right now. This gray area. Right, just paying attention to it because I know this is an RBS. I know this is where we squeezed up from. Big level for buyers. Also know that this is the daily Bollinger Band around here. So again, the short is not ideal in terms of location on a daily. It's the biggest problem right now that I'm having in pulling a short trigger is the location. If we'd swept the hourly high when we were up there at like 11.20 and then started failing, I probably would have been more inclined to look for a short back down around 21,140. And I'd already be up 120 points, but it didn't do it. If it doesn't do it, I can't be annoyed with myself. If it doesn't do it, I can't do anything about it, can I? If it doesn't set up the trade, what can I do? Absolutely nothing. What are you good for? Absolutely nothing. You want to close below? Yeah. Below that. Yeah, I understand. Just be careful. Just be careful if you're going to take the short here. Just be careful. You are extended from flow zones and you are under daily Bollinger Band. It doesn't mean it can't do it, but just remember the chances of closing down here are slim. It doesn't mean it can't come back and retest it, and that will still offer you a trade. But you are definitely extended. They're definitely not making it easy today, folks. Yeah. Would have been really nice if that big short this morning offered a retracement for us to just slam into before it went and cleaned everything out. That would have been much, much better. They're going to drop this. What are you doing? Same levels over and over and over, just teetering on the edge, aren't they? I had to double take that for a second. I thought you were saying 2 to 3 minutes. I was like, whoa. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, capped. It's one of those days where we've had good reads. If they built out this a bit more, this would have been really nice. And if they took this, right, and then came in here, this would have been really nice. But they're just not doing either, and that's all right. Like I said, as long as we're sticking to our process, can sit here and think, God, could have made a lot more today. Yeah, could have lost a lot more as well if I didn't stick to my rules. So defending that 100 right now. 90 seconds until a new H1 bar, folks, until you get into lunch. That last H1 bar. How have you not taken it? How have you not filled that gap and then come back down? Gross. Absolutely gross. Oh, they're going for it. Oh, they're finally going for it. Yes, coming back towards previous day low here. So definitely cleaned out all the liquidity, definitely into an area where we started buying it this morning. Definitely buyers now starting to get trapped. All right, we're underneath the anchors right now. Let's do like a little one from here just to see. Okay. Tyson, the NQ, mate. Oh, I'm watching everything, but what's on your chart is the NQ. You can tell from these huge numbers here, right? Huge numbers on the right. QQQ is currently trading at 509.95. Very, very different number. So new H1 bar here, folks. All right, new H1 bar. So this is the last H1 low right here. All right, so if H1 wants to trade upside, it can steal that and go all the way back up for previous H1 high. If it stays heavy under here, it can go back down towards the IBL. It's becoming very hard to trade this now in terms of H1 structure. So I'm risk off, not taking a trade here, and we're into lunch. All right, so that is it. We had some nice trades together on stream. It's not played out quite how I would have liked. Probably it almost set up some amazing trades for us, but again, just constantly sticking to the process. That's all I will ever do. It will either set up the trade or it won't set up the trade. So simple as that. Those of you in Discord, I will try and pop in this afternoon. I'm going to have a little break now, make some food, hit the gym, get off the screens. Mentally feeling a bit fatigued as we get towards the end of the week. And we go again tomorrow. Big punt, hypothetically question. If you took all the prop traders currently trading live sims and they were placing those same trades in a live account hitting the tape, would the market look different? Yeah, is the easy answer. I would imagine there are hundreds of thousands of prop traders. So if you injected 100,000 extra contracts constantly, it would definitely look different, big pun. I mean, you'd have more liquidity on the tape. So the market would move the same way, but the liquidity would be increased. And most of those would be failing, right? 90% would be having chasing the market and stuff. So even more easy money for funds to take. All right, team. Back tomorrow. Same thing over and over. Everyone else, see you in the Discord later. Peace and love. Be safe. Use hard stops. You know, all the usual stuff. Take care.